You know, with this being the 50th anniversary of Scooby-Doo this year, I thought I'd take this opportunity to kind of hopefully do a series of videos, try to keep in touch with, try to keep up with these videos throughout the year and talk about some things related to Scooby-Doo that people like me have talked about before, but, still people wonder why. And I do apologize in advance, like I said, if I can't keep up with these as much as I would like to. But with that said, let's talk about one of the things that people have talked, one of these subjects and topics that people have talked about or have connected with Scooby-Doo since about 1983. So basically 36 years. And what is that? We'll find out in a moment. Okay, so real quick backstory. As a lot of you probably know, Scooby-Doo, this being its 50th anniversary, debuted in 1969. Now, throughout its original run, from Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, to the celebrity-influenced or inspired new Scooby-Doo movies, to the mid-1970s Scooby-Doo show, and then Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo show, there was always one constant about these shows. And that is Mystery Inc. always was paired up in a certain way. Now, taking Scooby aside, you had four human characters. You had Shaggy, of course, Scooby's best friend and owner. You had Fred Jones, the leader of the group. Velma Dinkley, sort of the brains of the group. And Daphne, who was the eye candy. Now, these characters, mostly Daphne, would get some character development throughout the different incarnations of this, through the different Scooby-Doo incarnations throughout the original run. Like I said, Daphne would probably get the most out of them all. But the one constant about this, and even Mystery Incorporated, that show, which is pretty good, believe it or not, kind of touched upon this, probably more so than even What's New, is the connection, the attraction between Fred and Daphne. But for one moment in time, Fred was not Daphne's only love interest. Oh no. I mentioned earlier during the introduction, from 1983 to 1987, that something was different, that something had changed. Well, you see, during those incarnations of the Scooby-Doo shows, from Where Are You to the Scooby-Doo Scrappy-Doo show, it wouldn't be until about around 1982 where the latest incarnation of the Scooby-Doo Scrappy-Doo show, where it was just treated like a Looney Tunes series, with 7-minute shorts, introducing us to some new characters like Yabba-Doo and his owner, who was a cousin of Shaggy's anyway, and a sheriff of town. It wouldn't be until, in my opinion, from what I can probably assume, till about mid-1982 when they started to rerun the first 2 seasons of the Scooby-Doo Scrappy-Doo show that involved Mystery Inc., that the decision was made to bring back one of those characters, one of the Mystery Inc. characters, and the character they brought back was Daphne, because as I said earlier, she started to get some character development, believe it or not, through all the different incarnations. You started to see a change in her personality. And it was decided, I'm guessing, that not only would she be easier on the eyes for like young boys and all that, but she would basically be the key to bring in a young female audience to watch Scooby-Doo. So what did they do to Daphne to make that happen? Well, they took her development that she had as a character so far, and they combined traits of both Fred and Velma, the best traits they had. They combined it into Daphne and gave us the Daphne we would have from 1983 to 1987, and even into series like What's New Scooby-Doo, and even recently with the Curse of the 13th Ghost movie. So, with all that said, why do I bring this up? And how does this connect with Daphne being, attracted to Fred and vice versa? Well, because like I said, in Mystery Incorporated, which pretty much, in my opinion, really solidified, what we all suspected from the beginning, was Mystery Inc. wasn't just best friends. They were also romantically involved. Daphne with Fred, Velma with Shaggy. But during the original run, like I said, from 1983 to 1987, you had Daphne brought back in the all-new Scooby-Doo Scrappy-Doo show, which evolved into the new Scooby-Doo Mysteries, which evolved into the 13th Ghost of Scooby-Doo. And it was something that really caught a lot of people by surprise, whether it was back then or even now. And that is how they treated the relationship between Daphne and Shaggy. Because there were moments, and even episodes, shorts, that indicated that Daphne and Shaggy were an item. Now, keep in mind, according to the Curse of the 13th Ghost movie, Shaggy and Daphne were adventuring during the summer while Fred and Velma were at camp. So, according to the 13th Ghost of Scooby-Doo movie, Shaggy and Daphne, in the eyes of fans, even before the movie came out, had a summer of love, had a summer romance, if you will. That's if you follow what Daphne basically explains happened to her, Shaggy, and Scooby during the time Velma and Fred were at camp in the movie. Anyway, the question is, why would Hanna-Barbera, even back then, hint at this and even have moments like this? I mean, you take a look at 13th Ghost. I think even who was it? Was it Obnoxious? It was somebody. It was somebody. It wasn't on YouTube. It was online somewhere. But somebody did bring up the fact that it seemed that Shaggy and Daphne seemed a lot closer than just BFs, if you will, best friends. And there were a lot of indications about this from 1983 to 1987. One indication was, I think, in the 1983 to 84 season of the all-new Scooby-Doo Scrappy-Doo show, where Daphne took Shaggy, in a sense, to meet her parents, or that incarnation's version of her parents. And she even danced with Shaggy. It was a costume ball. She even danced with Shaggy and even giggled when because he was wearing a knight's outfit. He was literally in a knight suit, like from medieval times. And the headpiece, the eyepiece fell down on him. And she kind of giggled at that. And that was not like a, teasing giggle or anything. That was kind of like the kind of giggles that's like, is this something there that we don't know? And then, like I said, you take a look at things like, 13th Ghost and what they, how Daphne embraced Shaggy after she was returned to normal from being a werewolf, to the fact that they all lived in the same house. So the question anybody's ever had is why? Why did Hanna-Barbera at that time, even if they probably didn't know it, or if they did, why did they hint at that? Why did they tease that there was something between Shaggy and Daphne that was probably beyond friendship? Well, I've heard numerous rumors and reports throughout the years as to why. You see, in the 13th Ghost of Scooby-Doo, we got introduced to a new interpretation of the Mystery Machine. It was the red van that got dubbed in the movie the Mystery Machine. MISS dash Three, whatever. So, the Mystery Machine, as it was dubbed in the movie, not then, was introduced to us in the 13th Ghost of Scooby-Doo. Now, the same van or machine would also be included in a lot of the direct-to-video Scooby movies that would come afterwards. Scooby-Doo and the Boo Brothers, Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. But why? Why was it brought in to those scenarios? Well, I wouldn't say so much with Reluctant Werewolf because they had their own vehicle, but why was it brought into those other movies? Well, here's the thing. From what I've understood, and maybe it was just people having too much time on their hands and they were speculating this themselves, but there's a report or a rumor going around that Daphne originally was supposed to be part of these movies as well. She was supposed to be part of all three movies. She was supposed to be part of the Boo Brothers. She was supposed to be part of Ghoul School, and she was supposed to be part of Reluctant Werewolf. As a matter of fact, report is the girlfriend known as Cookie to Shaggy, that's Shaggy's girlfriend in the Reluctant Werewolf, that was supposed to be Daphne's role. Daphne was supposed to be in that role, according to the rumors I've heard. So, with those reports and rumors circulating at the time, and if not still, it kind of gives you an idea that maybe what Hanna-Barbera was trying to do at the time with Scooby-Doo and the characters of Shaggy and Daphne was trying to make them an item. Because when you think about it and you look back at the history, the early, during the first few shows of Scooby-Doo, like Where Are You and the new Scooby-Doo mysteries, and, well, not the mysteries, but the new Scooby-Doo movies, Daphne was almost at times on the side of Shaggy and Scooby. Like, she believed something was not right. Like, she believed things could be haunted. She believed there could be the supernatural. Which is why I think also why they picked her. Because they looked back and saw, well, wait a minute, if there's anybody that's really going to believe that there's more to the scenario than, Shaggy and Scooby, it's going to be Daphne. So that's another reason, too, they brought her back. Because of that history she had kind of, agreeing with Shaggy and Scooby, like, yes, something's not right here, something's amiss. So, modest opinion, not modest opinion, but so from what I've understood, just looking at these rumors in the past, was Daphne was supposed to be part of that. But it was decided, I guess, at the last moment that it would just be focused on Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy. And that's about it, and the characters they would encounter. So you're telling me from what they're telling me, from what I'm being told, I should say, reading this stuff, that they couldn't include Daphne in just one of them? Maybe, let's say, Reluctant Werewolf? What was the reason? Were they afraid she'd steal the spotlight? I don't think so. I mean, you take a look at 13th Ghost of Scooby-Doo, she fit in very well there. And it was pretty much indicated in that series, and like I said, even before then, with the new Scooby-Doo Mysteries and an all-new Scooby-Doo Scrappy-Doo show, that there was something between them. Heck, you fast forward to Mystery Incorporated, and you got a moment in there, even though they were both under the influence of something, drug, whatever it was, and they ended up kissing each other. Because Daphne thought Shaggy was Fred, Shaggy thought Daphne was Velma, something like that. So you had that moment happen, and to me, honestly, that was done as a bit of an Easter egg, a reference to that original run between 1983 and 1987, and what a lot of fans speculated, even then, back in 2010 to 2013. I mean, heck, whether you like the movies or you don't, take a look at the first Scooby-Doo live-action film in 2002. We had a moment where it was just Daphne, Shaggy, and Scooby. that was a nod and an Easter egg towards the 83 to 87 run. But why did they do it? Why would they? But getting back on topic, I should say, why did they do it originally? And I think what it was is they probably saw, like I said earlier, the reason they did it, and I know I sound like I'm repeating myself here, and it is early still. It's about 8:09 in the morning, so I do apologize. But the reason they brought Daphne back, like I said earlier, was the fact that they wanted a token female in there that would attract the young female audience to watch the Scooby franchise, the Scooby-Doo shows, even especially if the female was the total package of beauty, brains, and if it had to, brawn, but beauty and brains mostly. So that, like I said, that worked in the end, obviously, because the show ended up getting not just another rename for the following season and another rename after that, if not a change in direction with 13th Ghost. But again, I think when one looks at it, whether Hanna-Barbera intended it to be or not, they pretty much said right then and there with this 1983 to 1987 run that Shaggy and Daphne had become an item. And again, like I said, I think the reason they did this, and look, I was 4 years old when all new Scooby-Doo Scrappy-Doo show came out and Daphne made her return. I was only 4 years old, so I could never be, there's no way I could have ever been in the meetings to figure out why they did this. But again, my assumption and my speculation is they did it because they looked back at the history of Daphne's character, even as she was developing as a character, and saw that originally she was on the same side as Shaggy and Scooby, of believing that there was more to what was going on than meets the eye. So I guess you could say they did it because they felt both would work fine. They would work off each other perfectly. And they did. I mean, they still kept a lot of Daphne's quirky personality in there where it's like, yeah, I'm not taking any chances. I'm going to go off this way until we figure out a plan. So yeah, overall, you could still speculate as to why they did it, but honestly, in the end, the reason they brought Daphne back and pretty much hinted, if not acknowledged, maybe unintentionally or intentionally, that these two are an item now, was because of the fact that not only one, they wanted to bring in the young female audience with a character that would be both beauty and brains, but they wanted to have someone that would be more understanding, more compatible, and somewhat respectful about the opinions coming from Scooby and Shaggy and what they would see or believe. So overall, that's pretty much my opinion on it. So I do apologize if it sounded like I was all over the place here. Like I said, it's early. It's about 8:12 in the morning. But I just thought I just wanted to start off this new little series I'm going to try to do once in a while, and to let you guys know what's happening. So until then, comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on this? What do you think I should cover next in this Scooby-Doo 50th anniversary blog discussion? And just to let you know, these will be, uncut. These will be unscripted. These will be on the fly. But let me know what you guys would like to hear me talk about next. Comment down below. I would love to hear from you guys, and I will talk to y'all later.